women's rights are one of the most violated rights here in Armenia, and you can see violations in all spheres of life, starting from the governing bodies till the general life, because we have huge problems of domestic violence in Armenia and violence against women. Also, we have very low poverty of women in Armenia, and also women are not presented in decision-making bodies. It means in the government, in the authorities.
I would say that domestic violence is one of the biggest issues now for women in women's rights protection sphere, because according to different statistics, it's like almost 69% of women are being subjected to different kinds of violence. But I would say that this number is really low according to what we have in real life, because a lot of women, they're really afraid to talk about it, and they just don't speak much.
By law, men and women are equal in the eyes of law. But unfortunately, in some cases, women are their voice has been suppressed, whether it begins in the family or on a society scale. Armenian society, like most societies, tend to value men over women.
To tell the truth, officially and superficially we say that there is no problem because women can appear in any sphere, but when we look deeply, there are a lot of challenges that women face while making their career, while making their own life, and they have a lot of steps forward. They cannot do any steps forward because of different traditional issues, different moral values that are like force women to do any steps forward, and that's why we have a problem nowadays. Women can officially appear in anywhere, but when we see in the reality, there are a lot of problems that they face while making their own life come true.
Да, армянская женщина, это мое впечатление, что она сильнее духом, чем армянские мужчины. Она поддерживает свою семью, детей, она все носит на армянских женщинах. Это мое мнение. Домашнее насилие, скорее, по-моему, это психологическое. Если армянский мужчина даже не может ничего сделать, и даже если он не содержит семью, он может побить кулаком об стол и сказать: я мужчина, и мое слово должно пройти. И женщина не может тут ничего делать. Вот это насилие, это, по-моему, так.
So our aim is to try showing a documentary film we made about this issue through the point of view of 4 women who have had to endure gender selection abortion. And through their stories, try to influence and begin dialogue in Armenia and Georgia and as many countries who want to see it, to begin a dialogue to discuss why the female gender is not valued on the same level as the male.
The Women's Resource Center is one of the women's rights defending organizations in Armenia. We have been working for 10 years for women's rights. We organized different training courses for women, beginning from the women's rights, so that they will know that they have rights to do their own decisions in their life. And we provided different services for women, anything to help them to create their own career, beginning from different language classes, any skills classes that will help them to make their own steps in the life. And we also have a toll number, Sexual Assault Crisis Center, in the organization, so we help victims of sexual violence. We provide psychological help, lawyers, any medical help, anything that can help women to survive from the sexual assault in Armenia, which is also a problem in our country. So on the one hand, we try to empower them to make their own steps. On the other hand, we help them to cure their to their problems that they face in our reality.
So the organization is mainly working with human rights protection and education. With that programs, we are aiming to break the gender stereotypes, and also we are involved in the coalition to stop violence against women, and with which we are now advocating for having domestic violence legislation in Armenia, and also we are making some street actions, public actions to raise the voice of women.
We have rapid response unit in our organization, and we have in this group a journalist, a lawyer, psychologist, social worker. So what we do is we usually go and find the cases ourselves. We investigate the case, and then the journalist writes an article about this case. The reason is we want to prevent the further cases. That's why we want to speak about this case. Later we talk to family, and if they need, we provide them with juridical and psychological support. This project is operating since last year, and during this 1 year we had unfortunately like 8 murder cases, domestic violence murders, about 6 physical violence, and 3 psychological violence cases, and 2 sexual violence cases.
Հայ ազգը ամենակնամեծար ազգերից մեկն է եւ ուղղակի ծիծաղելի է, որ այսքան որոշ կազմակերպություններ խոսում են կանանց իրավունքների ինչ-որ ոտնահարման մասին։ Իհարկե լինում են որոշ դեպքեր, երբ որ, չգիտեմ, կանանց նկատմամբ լավ չեն վարվում որոշ տղամարդիկ, բայց դա դարձնել ինչ-որ համաշխարհային խնդիր եւ պետք է օգնել այդ ընտանիքը, եթե կա ընտանիքում խնդիր տղամարդու եւ կնոջ միջեւ, պետք է փորձել, որ այդ ընտանիքը լուծի իր խնդիրը, այլ ոչ թե բաժանել, ինչ-որ տրամադրել կնոջը տղամարդու դեմ, պետք է լուծել, օգնել այդ ընտանիքներին, որպեսզի լուծեն իրենց խնդիրները։ Իսկ ընդհանրապես կարծում եմ, որ Հայաստանը այն երկրներից է, որտեղ կնոջ իրավունքները հարգվում են։
First, we would like to change the mentality of women themselves, not to be a victim, because right now and for the centuries, women in Armenia were brought up as victims because they need to be shy, they need to be silent, they need to obey men. And first we want to change this, because if we make women believe that they have a power inside, they will do their own steps forward. And on the second, we would like to change mentality of society in Armenia that victimize women, that make them to obey men, that make them obedient to the society. And we want society to realize that there is equality, and women and men have the same power to do anything they want in their life according to our constitution, of course.
Is not necessarily only develop and strengthen the idea and the notion of women's rights in Armenia, because the rights are there. What we need to work on is the men, to tell them that domestic violence is not okay, to tell women that if they're victims of domestic violence, they should not be afraid to speak up, and they should not be afraid of taboos from their friends, from family members, from society, which include men and women. So I don't feel like women's rights exists without also strengthening the men in society. And that's what I would like to see change. And that's why when we discuss gender selection abortion, we don't consider it a women's issue, we consider it an issue for all of society.
One of the first things that I would change is accepting domestic violence law, because we don't have this law, and now we're fighting for the government to accept the law.
We want women to be equally presented in all aspects of the society, starting from decision-making bodies till the middle level of population.
Իմ կարծիքով Հայաստանում կանանց իրավունքները լիովին պաշտպանված է։ Բոլոր բնակավարներում մենք տեսնում ենք կին աշխատողներ, կին բարձրաստիճան պաշտոնյաներ եւ այլը։ Ես դա անշուշտ բարձր եմ գնահատում, որ կանանց դերը մեր հասարակության մեջ բարձր է գնահատվում։
The only solution I see for this problem is education.
If the government support women, and we will try to make any change from the society, and if the government will support also, we can make any cooperation and bring to some changes.
So the solution comes from the very, very first level. We have to change the mentality, and also we have to change the stereotypes and empower women, and to make them real actors of the society.
The solution, whatever it is, it's a very complicated issue, and it's very much connected to our mentality, somehow the traditions and the role models and the way that Armenian children are being brought up since the childhood, and they're just taking this family role. And the way that we can decrease the number of domestic violence is, first of all, awareness raising, so the people and women would know their rights.